Solving inequalities. Well, first off, what is an inequality? An inequality is an equation that has a greater than, less than, or greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. These guys solve the same as a linear. Remember these 5 steps from earlier? These same 5 steps are still in play. Distribution, combine like terms, add, subtract variable, add, subtract constant, divide. These 5 steps still in play. We're just going to add a couple steps to them. Okay? So let's start with what is it? This is 3x minus 5 is less than or equal to 10. Now, we're going to treat this piece as if this is a plain old equals. Now I'm going to do the same 5 steps. I start with looking. Do I have a distribution? No. Do I have a combine like term? No. Remember, combine like term does not have an equals between it. Do I have a add or subtract variable? Only one variable, so nope, don't have step 3. Step 4 is add, subtract constant. We start there because I have a constant on this side of the equals and this side of the equals. Here's the difference. I always want to keep the x on the left-hand side constant to the right. So since this is minus 5, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I end up with 3x, 15. Last step is divide. Still dividing. Haven't done anything different than I would with a normal linear. Here's where it becomes different. There are multiple ways of writing these solutions. One, I can do it in what is known as interval notation. Okay? I can do it in set notation. I also can graph this. Okay? Now look at that which way. Use the greater than equal to as a arrow. It's pointing to the left. So that means if I was to graph this on a number line, I would start at 5, and I'm going to draw a line going to the left. Now, what goes on the end? There's more than one way. I can do the squared off bracket, or I can do a solid dot. How do I know which to do? It's because there's an equals in it. If there's an equals, I can either have brackets or solid dots. Again, different ways. If there is no equals, I get a rounded or a parenthesis and open dots. Okay? This part also goes the same with this. So, more than one way, but this is the biggie. It's the added steps. So let's look at another one. Okay, again, remember, variables go to the left, constants to the right. So I have a variable on either side. So I'm going to subtract this x off, so I'm moving him to the left. Negative 2 minus 1 gives me a negative 3x. And I'm treating this as if this is an equals, even though it's not. Variable to the left, constant to the right. My constant's a minus 4, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Last step is divide. Here's the thing. This time though, because I am dividing by a negative, and this is the only time it happens, when you divide by a negative, the direction of your greater than or less than changes directions. So he went from a greater than to a less than. Okay, again, I have more than one way to solve it. This is the solution, but now I've got more than one way to write it. I can, which way is the arrow pointing? It's pointing to negative infinity. It's pointing to the left. This time it gets a rounded parentheses because there's no equals. Remember? If I am to write this on a number line, I'm going to say here is 0, here is -3. The arrow is pointing to the left. This time I'm going to show you how the circle method works. I draw an open circle. This is a less than. Okay? Let's go for a little bit of a longer one. You know what? Everything I've done so far has been a less than. Let's do a greater than. I'm changing it. All right, let's see. 5 steps. We treat it as if it's an equals. Same concept. 5 steps of solving for a linear. Same play. I start with distribution. I distribute. So again, -3x minus 6. No distribution on the left. I look, can I combine like terms? This side's clean, this side's clean. Remember, we don't cross the equals on combine like terms. Step 3 is moving the variable. I have variable on the right hand side. He needs to go to the left. It's a -3, so I add 3. So 2 plus 3 gives me a 5x. All right, step 4 is a move a constant. I have a constant on either side. They need to go to the right. So I add 11 to both sides. -6 plus 11 gives me 5. Last step is a divide. I divide by 5. But this time I do not change directions. And the reason being is I did not divide by a negative. Okay? So this time he's pointing to the greater than. He's pointing to the right, which means a positive infinity. He's on the right. Can never equal infinity. I start at 1, and there's no equal into that, so it's 1 to infinity. All right, number line time. Put a 0, put a 1. This time I'm going to do it this way. Let's say, guys, there's more than one way to graph. Since it's a no equal to it, I'm using the rounded parenthesis. Okay? This is just a crash course, quick refresher for how to handle inequalities. Gave you 3 examples. Check out if you want more practice. The worksheet's attached. Bye.